Ever watched a science fiction movie and wondered whether the world could really ever be that fantastic? Whether people alive today will live on Mars, teleport around the world, or even travel through time. If these things sound fantastic to you now, just think how far we've come in the last 100 years. This century has seen man progress from horse-drawn carriages to moonwalks, and yet the scientific revolution is only just beginning. If you've ever wondered whether the science of tomorrow can fulfill the spectacular promises of today's science fiction, then welcome to Future Fantastic. Of all science fiction's claims, the longest and the loudest has been that we are not alone. A growing number of scientists agree. They're coming around to the possibility of intelligent life outside this planet. While the experts speculate on what these extraterrestrials may look like and what message they may bring, they're sure of one thing. When we make contact, it will be the most profound event since man first left the confines of this tiny planet. What if extraterrestrials are leaving clues for us, out there in the unimaginable vastness of space? Messages that are safely hidden until we're advanced enough to find them. There are a growing number of people who can tell you exactly what an alien looks like. They've met them. Science fiction explained this lack of hard evidence. Well, it's brilliantly simple. The evidence has been there all along. It's just been covered up. Someone's not being straight with us. What do we make of Bob Lazar's story? Maybe he's telling it straight. Maybe he's mistaken advanced military technology for alien hardware. Or maybe he's been reading too much science fiction. Science fiction introduced us to the alien. And while the scientists must wait for proof, the signals or alien debris that would confirm their existence, it's the writers and the filmmakers who have inspired the scientists to look, and may even have prepared us for what they might find. Now, no one knows how it will change us, but contact with other species in our universe will be one of the most exciting adventures that awaits us in our fantastic future. Already, a new generation of robots are waiting in the wings. Machines that can repair themselves, teach themselves, even breed and evolve. One day we may end up sharing the planet with machines that are not only stronger than us, but more intelligent. So far, robots have remained glued to the factory floor. All brawn and no brain. So how close are scientists to building the robot of science fiction? The robots that can walk, talk, and hold things. Could they achieve in decades what's taken human evolution millions of years? Asimov's 3 laws of robotics. There was one exception. If science can achieve that, then our future really is fantastic. We are now entering one of the most exciting areas of science, where all the old rules are dissolving, and anything seems possible. Robot evolution is taking off. The future could soon be out of our hands. They call it robot evolution. Think again. After all, one day in the not-so-distant future, robots will take their place alongside us. Ultimately, they may see us as weaker and less intelligent. When that happens, we can only hope they look kindly on their creators, and that we find a way to live together and share our fantastic future. Over the years, science fiction has imagined every corner of the universe, yet we know only a fraction of its mysteries. Tonight, we'll reveal the technology that will take us to the stars, and how scientists believe they may have found a way to make the ultimate trip, not through space, but through time. The journey that ends with mankind's greatest fantasy starts with the challenge of the moon. Now, this is where things start to get really weird. It was Einstein who argued that when objects reach these incredible speeds, time goes haywire. He predicted that one of the few things we've learned to rely on as unchanging would stretch like an elastic band. Half a century later, experiments proved him right. For the first time, we can dare to speculate on the workings of a practical, functioning time machine. For now, time travel is beyond our technology, but that may not always be the case. Space, however, is there for the taking, and the conquest of the moon will prove to be only the first of many milestones, both within our galaxy and beyond. Where the pioneers go, we will follow, and what is for now the privilege of astronauts alone will become our fantastic future. 100 years ago, it took 3 months to travel to the other side of the planet. Today, we make that same journey in less than a day. But imagine an age in which the jumbo jet is as obsolete as the Model T Ford, when we can travel from one continent to another in the space of a single heartbeat. It's long been the stuff of science fiction, but this is our fantastic future. In a laboratory in Albany, New York, fantasy is about to become fact. Professor Lake Mirabeau is putting the finishing touches to an idea that is straight off the cover of a science fiction storybook. For most people, anti-gravity is an impossible dream. But experience tells us that the impossible has a niggling habit of becoming real. It's the ultimate science fiction fantasy. As a means of travel, it would be unsurpassed. Could we just be a step away from the most incredible journey of all time? Beam me up, Anton. A world we can span in the blink of an eye? Of course, it's a giant leap from atoms to humans. But as we've seen, technology is taking off. And these days, you can't rule anything out. Teleportation is just one of the exciting prospects ahead on our incredible shrinking planet. Our fantastic future is sooner than you think. It was about a scientist who attempts to build a superhuman. And ever since, science fiction has been exploring the fantastic and terrible consequences of tampering with nature in this way. But while the writers let loose their imagination, the scientists have been hard at work on the real thing. For better or for worse, Frankenstein is coming to life. Science fiction's all-time favorite blueprint for the superhuman has carved a trail of destruction through countless movies and comic books. They're part man, part machine. They're cyborgs. The stories reach the same conclusion. If we dare to play God, we invite catastrophe. The question is, will that stop us?
What I think you're...
The story of the superhuman is the oldest in science fiction. It reflects our deepest desires, to be stronger, faster, smarter, more beautiful, to be better. Even though science fiction has warned us against meddling with nature, the signs are that we're going to do it anyway, and sooner than you think. The Invisible Man. It's one of science fiction's oldest stories, and most people would have thought that it would stay that way. Filed under impossible, right next to anti-gravity beams, telepathy, and limitless energy. But around the world, scientists are reopening the files on these fantastic ideas. Could science fiction have been onto something after all? Welcome to the world of weird science. The weird science files don't end there. How about anti-gravity? Weightlessness at the flick of a switch. It's an idea that dates back more than 100 years to the dawn of modern science fiction. Look into my eyes. Of all the weird ideas that science fiction has imagined, none is more intriguing than telepathy, the ability to read another person's mind. For years, no respectable scientist would give it a second thought. But at the height of the Cold War, the CIA got involved, and suddenly, ESP got serious. Psychic spies. Weird science. Ideas that some scientists believe will always remain in the realms of science fiction, and yet others hope will one day change our world. No one can predict what lies ahead, but if a century of progress has taught us anything, it's that our fantastic future will be weirder than we could ever imagine. Science fiction has imagined a world where technology will invade not just our living rooms, but our minds. In this future, we can experience anything we desire. Fantasies more convincing than reality itself. According to scientists, this might not be science fiction for much longer. The two-dimensional world of TV will give way to experiences so real you can taste them, so fantastic they could literally blow your mind. Before we know it, the tools we use today will seem like museum pieces, cumbersome and ridiculous. In the future, we'll connect with technology in a totally new way. It's possible. But first, we'll have to take technology one step closer. Hold on to your heads. We're going in. Someone else. Whose head would you plug into? Of it. There will be no rules, not even the laws of physics. We'll defy gravity and time. We'll go anywhere, be anyone. We'll be free from reality itself. Could you resist it? Where virtual is better than reality. To adventures that are limited only by our imagination. But at what cost? In the pursuit of our dreams, we will undoubtedly encounter some nightmares. But whatever the risks, how can we possibly resist the promise of the ultimate experience? For better or for worse, it will be part of our fantastic future.